Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and welcome back to Herman Electro. This game just received a patch, and it actually includes some things I gave them feedback on. So one is in game settings, show floor number in minimap. If I turn that on, then in the upper right it says floor 0. I was telling them I had trouble remembering which floor I was on, so that can help us remember which floor. Another thing that they changed, June the Fugitive, just to show it off. When I played her briefly, I had discovered an exploit, which is basically that you could save and reload and get 60 seconds back. And so I don't actually intend to play as her. I will give up shortly. I'm just going to take a peek at these rooms. Presumably there is a garden here. Oh no. But now I'm kind of trapped. Do I have any way out of this actually? Yeah, I don't think so. All right. But in any case, I'm going to let my countdown timer go below 60. So now it's definitely below 60, down to 55. And so if I return to hub as June, previously, if I were to go back into the save corridor here, it would have reset the counter to 60, and that was basically an exploit. And now it just started again at 55 this time. All right, so that is something that they fixed. But let's go ahead and return to hub. And yeah, so that is something that has happened since the last time I recorded an episode. Something else that has happened is I played as Edmund for like an hour and had a bunch of losses, and then had one win, but I don't even think I picked up any scrap, and I didn't unlock any new tools. So basically, you don't need to see any of that run because nothing really exciting happened. So yeah, honestly, the thing I want to do the most is just have some more success with some more possible unlocks or seeing some new things and picking up some more scrap metal. And I still think the character that I play best as is Natasha. I think her guns that can shoot through concrete give me more flexibility than kind of anything else that's going on. So that is the plan. This looks like a room that might be solvable without using any stuff and things. So let's just try. Oh, interesting. So this toggled this. So there's must be some feedback going on in here with the power coming through this side. And it doesn't seem to be affected by any of this. That's interesting. So is there just a NOT gate? It's not as simple as just a NOT gate. So what turned this on over here? And what turned it back off? There must be like a NOT and an AND or something. Yeah, because that just toggles. Alright, well then a wire cutter here should cause this to turn back on and then be able to get there. So when I have a wire cutter, we can come back to that floor. A sponge would solve this. I'm happy to spend. I feel like in general, unless you have a bunch of open rooms where you know specific resources you want to use, feels like in general, like if you can spend a mere one resource, it's almost always a good thing. All right, and in here, well, now I have one wire cutter. Where is the power source? It's up here. If I disabled the power entirely, or I could just cut the wire here, that would keep these guys trapped, and I wouldn't have to worry about that aspect, and I'd be able to get this. But I could also use the wire cutter in the room to the north. Is there anything else I could use in this room? A water bucket to destroy the power source. And obviously my flames. So yeah, I'm going to choose to use the wire cutter in here, because right now that's the only way I know to solve this one. So if I do that, Will I get a water bucket? No, I got a saw. And another room to the north. The saw could also solve that room to the south, now that I think about it. And this room looks like it would require a plank or something different than what I currently have, unless I want to use my super tool of the fire. So let's use a saw to get the toolbox here. That gave us a brick. Okay, I could throw the brick across the gap in the northernmost room. So if I threw a brick here, yeah, that would toggle this and turn that off, and then everything would be fine. So once again, one resource seems perfectly fine to use. And that's opened our way to the exit. So we're on floor 1. We'll get a chance to see this count up to floor 2. And if I wanted more guns, I could probably get some. Okay. So let's move down with Natasha to floor 2 and get 2 rooms and 2 more tools. In this one, I would want to keep this down. So ideally, I would want to snip here and snip here. And the problem is I would also need a plank. So right now, it looks like this would require 3 tools. An alternative, obviously, would be a gun and a saw just to go directly through the concrete. But let's take a look at this one as well. Flames could solve this trivially. If I didn't solve this trivially, toggling this would let this guy out. I would see what other logic is happening in here, but without a brick, he might be able to turn this on, which would turn this on. However, the worry is something would step on this and turn this on and not give me a way out. Also, I might be able to trap him in the doorway and kill him that way, if that might be advantageous to me. So let's actually do this just to get a look at what's happening in here. Ooh, if he takes one more step to the left, that would leave the door up forever. So he would never be able to go back in there. That's fine. Then if he stepped on here, that would do this stuff, which is very good. However, if he steps on here, he would be able to let himself out, but I might be able to dance and toggle him. Yeah. And so if I were walking across here, I could keep this door shut so he wouldn't go anywhere and then walk all the way here. And could I walk back out? I think so. I think that would work. And the problem is I won't be able to see. And so 1 square to the left of the toolbox is where he's going to toggle this. And so I'll need to do a little stutter step dance over there to handle things, I think. But yeah, I think I can do this. He'll shut himself back in. Now me toggling this doesn't do anything. Oh, 1 step to the left of the toolbox. Right. Okay, so I need him to... why did he do that just now? Oh, this turned that on. That's going to turn that one. Got it. So if I do this, he's going to toggle it. But then so long as I never go back into this column, it won't be toggled again. The problem is on the way back out. Oh, on the way back out, I'll be stepping here again. Unless I finally let him out. Because let's see, here's the other toggle. So I'm going to be going here. He'll step here. He'll open this door. I can do a little stutter step to get him to reclose the door. Go through here. He'll open the door again. I can do another stutter step, so he closes the door. He'll open the door again. And at that point, I could let him chase me, and as a result, this would always stay down. But then would I have an opportunity to kill him? Oh no, if I let him out, he would have stood on this, and this would be blocked, and I'd be spending my 2 wire cutters. And if I didn't let him out, then the problem is once I step back into this column, he is going to drop this on me. Actually, if I was going to use a saw, hold the phone, I could just use the saw here. And then that would make everything easy, right? I think so, actually. So, if this were down, he's going to toggle that. I want him to keep himself locked in. Then I could use my saw here. This will be down. I can walk to the toolbox. I can do the stutter step to keep him locked in. He'll never go this far. Yeah, I think this is the correct thing to do. This only uses 1 resource. Okay, so he's stepping there, but then he's going to lock himself back in, and I turn to profit. Okay, great. That was fantastic. Yeah, and it doesn't look like I ever need to go back down there, so the fact that he has the potential to let himself out is not a big deal. Okay, so do I want to use 2 wire cutters and a plank, or do I want to use a gun and a saw? A gun and a saw is fewer resources. 2 rather than 3, so I'm going to use the gun and the saw. All right, simple enough. Great, 2 more rooms to investigate. I got a sponge. This room is big and complicated and ugly, and I kind of just want to burn it down so I don't have to think about it. I'll think about that one on my own in a little bit if we need to. Tell me about this room. This room is small and less complicated and not as ugly. Is there a guard in here? If there is, the only way I could kill him is to manipulate him in here, which would be difficult. Yeah, so that is a worry. Suppose there is a guard in addition to the toolbox. I would be here. The only killing space I have is here. And I don't know that I could manipulate a guard there because I would not be able to toggle this. It's right next to a power source. And if I walk around, the guard's just going to start chasing me, and he's going to be very close to me, and I won't be able to convince him to walk into here. Yeah, so I don't love doing this room without a gun or some type of backup to kill the guard. So let me think about this room on my own. So I think this room can be solved with 1 wire cutter, and I just want to leave this on in order to get at the trapdoors up here and turn this off in order to ensure that this door is going to be open behind me. And I think everything else is going to be okay. I'll have to use a wire cutter there on the way out if I have read the whole situation here properly. So I want this to be on. I want this to be on. This turning on is going to lower this trapdoor, so now I can walk all the way to the end. This turning off would open my door. So I want to do this. I got a gun back, which is nice. And I have a wire cutter, which I can use in 1 spot right here to get back out. And so that's only cost me a single resource. And possibly we don't have to go back to that other room that might have a guard in it. There's a battering ram. Another thing in the update is apparently the battering ram, like if it breaks through glass, will make the battering ram noise now, which I'm surprisingly excited about. Let's see. A single wire cutter here. After battering through this would enable me to get in and out. This would stay intact holding this. This would stay intact holding this. Yeah, and so let's see if we hear any noises as we push the battering ram, but I think I can just push this to the left. It'll disconnect these, that's fine. I can use wire cutters here. Yeah, I feel good about that. Neat. It made a noise. All right. And so I'm going to wire cutter and then get my loot and continue on, hoping the exit's going to be down here somewhere. This is a room layout I don't think I've seen before. It's always fun to find something new and exciting. If somebody were stuck here, or a brick, then this would be held down. Power would travel from here to here, and here, and electrify this whole thing. I might be able to walk carefully. Yeah, where a guard turns it on at the moment I need to step on a trapdoor and turns it off on the moment I need to step on the electricity. I do have a brick, which I could throw through the glass. And so, if I burned the south wall, threw a brick through the glass, they would be chasing me. I could walk across the covered pits. They would be silly gooses and fall in. And then I could just grab the toolbox. And it would cost me the flame and the brick. I think I might be okay with that, because trying to do anything else seems very complicated and I don't have a strategy for it. So yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. I am going to burn this, throw a brick through here, walk to the right, convince them to follow me, and then go grab the toolbox later. Haha, you fell in a pit. Alright, and I got a water bucket and managed to make it to the exit. And I found a shop, which could give me another flame, which is nice, and could give me a dolly for a variety of tools, which could also be nice. Right now I don't have those items, those implements available to me. I could spend a water bucket to get a gun, or a plank to get a gun. Alright, so I have access to more guns if they will help when I come back up the stairs. But for now, we'll just move on. I know I'm on floor 3 thanks to the thing in the upper right. Good job, game developers. And let me inspect this. This is a room I've seen before. I'm pretty sure I can solve it with the saw and a water bucket. The one thing to be careful of is the guard needs to do a stutter step. That's something that has killed me before. But I think it all looks straightforward. So, if I saw this, water bucket this, and then I want to turn that on, yeah, I want it to be in that state, so that this stays down. The guard is going to assist me with this. And so this is going to let the guard out, which is what I want. Then I want him to stutter step here in order to have power flowing here. Then if I take a step to the right, I will be safe because he's going to save me. And then I can just grab this and grab my tools. All right, fantastic. We did a thing. So let's take a look over here. Also, what was the ringing noise I heard? Was that him stepping off of this or something? I heard like a little noise there and I'm not sure what it was. Have I seen this room before? Not immediately obvious to me. I could stand on this, which would allow me to walk over here and toggle this, which could turn this off. And standing over here would turn this back on. And also toggling this off would mean I couldn't go back. 2 saws obviously could get me in directly. 2 planks could also get me in directly. So it seems like I have the option of 2 saws or 2 planks as easy solutions to that room. So let's see if I need to preserve saws or planks after doing this room. 2 saws would win this one trivially. A water bucket and a plank looks like another way it could go. But I don't have those resources. So yeah, I think I'll spend 2 saws here and 2 planks in the other room. That seems perfectly reasonable to me. I could also spend 1 saw and a plank, but 2 planks in the other room are the other thing that I need. Yeah, so I'm going to spend 2 saws here. All right, and I got some things. So let's go back up to the north room and spend 2 planks coming from the north. Just walk in here and not worry too much about the crazy stuck down pressure plate thingy. And this gives me 2 ways to go. This way. I think I've seen this room before, but don't really remember any of its analysis. Seems like a brick might be especially useful in here. Or I could just cheese my way through things in the corner. But yeah, one would have to spend at least... If I spent a plank to walk in over here, then I could step on this and have a lot more things down and step on this. And if I got rid of this, I could step on this and get there. So that would be a plank. A water bucket. Looks like a plank and a water bucket could solve that room. Or a plank and a wire cutter. So do I need to preserve either a water bucket or a wire cutter in order to solve this room? This one also seems vaguely familiar. So the sponge might be needed to let myself out of here. A plank could be used here. Or a wire cutter. A water bucket or a wire cutter could be used here. No, I just want to leave this off, so I just wouldn't touch anything here. So sponge, wire cutter or plank, and this part is fine. So sponge and wire cutter or plank. And I didn't have any need for a plank in this room. No, I did need a plank in this room. So I'd have to use the wire cutter and then I could save the bucket for this room. Okay, so let's do sponge and wire cutter in this room, assuming that I can turn this on. So let's discover if there's a way to turn this on. I didn't want that one. That one doesn't seem to do anything. That one doesn't seem to do anything. Maybe these two together. There we go. Do that. Great. So with those 2 on, if I use my wire cutter here and my sponge here, then I'll still have the plank and the water bucket for the other room. Yes. So, wire cutter. We use the sponge on the way out. So, sponge to unsticky this plate. And we got some other resources, including extra planks, but I thought a plank and a water bucket was going to do it. So if I walk in here, step on this, then I'll be able to walk over here and across here. I'll be able to use a water bucket on the way out of here, and then walk back out. Yep, that all seems good to me. So I do this, I do this, and then a single water bucket here lets me walk back out this way. That does still seem to be the best thing. I guess also a wire cutter could do it at this point as well, but the water bucket is fine. There we go. And we've made it to the exit. 3 guns. If I had 3 bricks or a battering ram. This thing again, which I will be excited to learn about once I manage to find some more scrap metal wherever it's hiding from me. And I don't know that I need anything from upstairs, so let's just continue down and see what we find on floor 4. 2 rooms. Oh boy. Obviously a gun and a saw would solve this room. 2 planks could also solve the room, because I could walk in here, plank, retoggle this, and then plank again. So 2 planks is a perfectly reasonable solution to that room, it seems like, allowing me to hold on to my gun and saw for more dire circumstances. However, 2 planks could also solve this room. A wire cutter here would allow this guy to walk here and power this for me. And then a second wire cutter or bucket. Except for this guy would not die here, and he'd continue walking around, and then he'd die here. Which would be fine, because this is a toggle pressure plate. So a wire cutter and a water bucket could also solve this, yeah. So once again, the strategy would be cut this wire so that these go off, walk this guy around to here so that he steps on this, powering this stuff. It would also power this thing next to him, so if I walk him back up, he'll die there. This will stay powered, and then I could use my water bucket here, and I would still have the 2 planks for the other room. I am happy with all of that. So, wire cutter. Boom. Guard, come meet your eventual death after turning this on. Thank you very much. I will pour a bucket of water here. Grab these tools. And I know I can use 2 planks in the other room, but let's take a peek down here while I am here. One imagines there's going to be some guards in there. I could walk to the left and get a peek at what's inside. Yeah, that seems to be the only way to start this one. Oh, there's no guards to worry about. Everything is awesome. Okay. So I let that down. So how do I video game? Obviously, this is another one I could cheese with the gun and a saw. And so if I did just hypothetically this, that would power all of the thingies, trapdoors to the right of the toolbox. However, in order to get to there, I would have to spend what? I don't see a way to get there alive. I guess like 2 saws and a wire cutter or something ridiculous. No, I couldn't cut the wire because it's getting the power over there. I don't see a way to solve this right now that doesn't involve cutting through the concrete. So perhaps we can just skip that room. I want to do cutting through the concrete as a last resort because it's a really good strategy when you need it. This one I thought I could solve with 2 planks. I still think I can solve it with 2 planks, so I'm going to solve it with 2 planks. Okay, so that is going here. Yeah, and I need to put a plank here, even though this is currently down, because I'm going to toggle this again. And then I'm going to put a plank here, and we're going to get this. Great. And then I can escape to the north and discover a room that looks like this. And a water bucket would solve this. So basically, I want this guy to turn this on, and then I just want to kill him so he doesn't toggle it anymore, and this would stay on, and I could water bucket this. Oh, but then I would need a plank as well. So water bucket and a plank, those are resources that I have to spend. The other possibility would be 3 bricks, so water bucket and a plank sounds pretty good to me. So let's do water bucket and a plank. So I need the plank on this before I water bucket this, because otherwise water bucketing this will cut the power to this and drop me through the trapdoor. All right, so plank, water bucket. I get the stuff, and it appears that I do need to do that room to the south, where the only way I had seen to solve it involved cutting through the concrete. And so I guess we're going to cut through the concrete, in which case this room will be trivial. So guess what, trivial room? Blam! Alright. We've done it, and we found the exit going down to floor 5. If I need more guns, I currently have 4 saws, and I could get a gun for a saw. I like having at least 1 gun in my back pocket, so I'm going to grab a gun before we head downstairs. I should have also checked out what's here. There is the fungus that gives us 10 seconds of invincibility, which is pretty useful, but it cost us like an arm and a leg and some other body parts probably. Alright, so let's just go down to floor 5. Let's see if we can find ourselves some scrap metal somewhere. Like, for reals. I want to get a new thing unlocked. I have seen at least some rotation or reflection of this room before, and it takes a number of resources. I could probably solve it, but let's take a peek at the other room before I commit to it. Is this room any simpler? If I heaved a brick from here onto this pressure pad, then I would be able to walk across here. I'd be able to walk across here. However, I would never be able to get out unless I first spent a couple of wire cuts. And I don't currently have a couple of wire cuts. The other thing I could do is cheese it and just spend that. Which is tempting. But let's find out if I'm going to get more wire cutters from the other room. So let me think through this one. Alright, so I need this to be powered in order to keep this gate down. So in order to get this gate down, I could use a brick and a saw. And in order to get this gate down, I could just use a water bucket or I could use a saw. And I don't have a lot of uses for the water buckets, so I'm going to use the water bucket on the south side. But we'll use the brick and the saw on the north side to cut that down, and then I'll water bucket this power source to bring that down, and then I can walk in and get 2 water buckets and a sponge and 2 more rooms. So, I have seen this room or one of its variations before. And in order to power this, I could either use a sponge here, which would trap me, or I could use a water bucket here, which would not trap me. And then to power this, I could use a water bucket. Yeah, so I might need to use a sponge regardless. All right. So I see 2 water buckets and a sponge. Is there any way to do it any better? I need both sides of these powered. They're not currently connected. I'm pretty sure that implies spending at least 2 water buckets to connect them. Or alternatively, the sponge over here to turn on this NOT gate. Again, if I use the sponge over here to turn this NOT gate, then I'll be surrounded by scary water. Although I would be able to use a saw as another alternative at that moment in time if I already powered the right side. Yeah, that's actually interesting. So if I power the right side, so suppose I walk over here and power it this way. So the right side's powered, this side's still unpowered. Then I could use a sponge here, which would power this side. So then both of these would be powered into the AND gate. Turn on all these things. And then I could use a saw from where I'm standing to get in here. So that's a different set of 3 resources, which would work. That would be water bucket, sponge, saw. Before I commit to that, let's take a peek at this room as well. And this one, if I got to here, it's easy to walk out. So the question is, how do you get to here? And the answer is complicated work with guards. Walk through here. These guys turn this on. I could just stutter step and turn them back off. Then walk through here. I could walk here, walk here. I want this one to stay on, so if I threw a brick through the wall and shot the guard to the north dead so that he died here, if I had already turned this on, that would already turn that off. Yeah, I don't have a way to get that guard over there, and then if I walked up there through the brick hole that I just made and turned it on myself, this guard would still do the same thing, and he would continue toggling it, and so I still don't have a way to toggle these alternatively. A different option is a brick cutting through the concrete and running away. Basically, that's one that I hope I don't need to solve. I think is the long and the short of it. Or that I get some... I could use a water bucket to provide power from here to here. But they wouldn't still be standing here. And if I have 3 water buckets, so I could leave this powered on, wire cut here, and then water bucket to conduct power to here, and water bucket to conduct power to here. So that would actually work. Okay, so here's a solution to the problem. It would involve a wire cutter, a water bucket, and a water bucket. So with 4 resources, I could solve that room, but that's all my wire cutters and water buckets. And having thought through that, that means I wouldn't be able to solve this room because I'd be using some of my water buckets, and I've completely forgotten if we even looked in this room. This room required 2 wire cutters, which I don't currently have. Right. Was there an alternative way to just shoot through the wall? There was. And that doesn't involve wire cutters or water buckets, so I'd still be able to solve the other room. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cheese this room with just 2 resources. And see what we get. I got some bricks and a plank. Interesting. Do the bricks and the plank help me at all over here? No. They're obviously more meant for the south room that I'm not planning to solve that way. Alright, since I have the more bricks could give me more ways to think about this room, perhaps. Still not sure about that. And in this one, remind me, I could solve it with a water bucket, a sponge, and a saw. Or something like 2 water buckets and a sponge. I'm going to try the water bucket sponge saw here and hope things go well for me. So I would want a water bucket to the south of me here, closing me in here. Then a sponge here and a saw there. Yes. Okay, let's do this. Water bucket. Sponge. Saw. And I got 3 planks and a door to the left. And the door to the left is the thing that makes me happy because it means I might be able to skip that awful room to the south. However, I don't have the resources to solve this room right now, do I? because I need to get through 4 bits of electricity. However, I could also solve this room if I had a gun, and I could probably trade for a gun upstairs, except for, can I get upstairs? Yes. Natasha could go back up these stairways over here and trade one of my other resources to get my hands on a gun. I've got excess bricks, which could get me a gun here. Also, remind me what's in this shop. Ooh, I don't have the sponge anymore. That would be the fungal whatever. I think I'll spend a brick, or do I want to spend a plank? I think spending a brick. Well, yeah, I'm okay spending a brick. Let's spend a brick. So that gets me a gun. Then I could use my gun and my saw to solve that other room. I am willing to gamble that this is going to end me up in a good place. And if it doesn't... This is a game of imperfect information because you never know what you're going to get out of the toolbox when you solve a room, and you never know if it's going to open another doorway or if you have to go a different way unless you have the map. And so I don't know that there's any way to like calculate probabilities. Cool. We get a bonus and the exit. What's in the bonus? It's scrap metal. Zing. Which means I can go get the thing and we get an ammo pack, which is great. I'm going to gain 3 guns. Zing. And yeah, I can go back upstairs and buy the thingamahoosit. So let's go back upstairs and buy the thingamahoosit, because the goal of the game is to win. No, the goal of the game is to unlock things. That's what I really want to do. Rising stock. Earn money with your money. Interesting. Got an achievement for unlocking it. So there's something called a coin, which it says has been unlocked for forever. However, I don't think I've ever had a coin in my inventory. And furthermore, now I don't know like what that would do. So I've unlocked the thing, and now I'm headed to the last level, and I don't know that I'm ever going to use it, but actually, if I pick up a piece of scrap, like I wonder if the scrap metal is money by any chance. So hopefully we'll see some scrap in this room. There's not scrap in this room. Well, yeah. Alright, well. Like, should I go ahead and spend this now just to see what it does? I'm afraid it will do nothing. Earn money with your money. Let's hold off on using it until I think I'm going to die or complete the level or something. Okay. So I have lots of planks. That's very good on the bottom floor because the ground will be falling from beneath me. We have a dangerous bomb. So yeah, if I cut the power in the north, walk around to the south, come in here, cut the power, then I can pick up the toolbox, use a single saw, and I think I might just be able to push the bomb box into the hole and step over it. I don't know if stepping over a bomb box kills me or not, though. But I also don't have a way to push it out of the way. So I might just want to use multiple planks to get around the bomb box, since I'm unsure if I can step over it if it falls into a hole, or perhaps falling into a hole would blow it up as well. I don't know how volatile it is. I do have enough planks that I could do that. I would still be able to get to all the exits going the route that I plan to take. So yeah, okay, so I have a plan, which is to cut some power here, then walk over here. We're going to need some planks to get back out, but that's fine. I'm going to cut the power over here. I'm going to pick up my toolbox. I got some more saws. I could use a plank instead of a saw. Could use one plank instead of a saw here. I've got a lot of planks. 3 planks to get out. I'm willing to spend 3 planks to get out with all these planks. So I'm going to plank here. Hold on to my saws, because saws are very valuable. Plank here. Plank here. And now I still have 3 saws and 3 guns, which is basically 3 bits of concrete I could get through, which sounds pretty terrific and amazing to me. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Plank, plank. There's my toolbox. And now here's my 1 saw on the way out. And I could go either of these ways. I choose this way. All right, sounds good. What do we have here? Need to be careful to preserve room to get to my exits. I could walk around here and here. Walk over this, water bucket this. All the power would be turned off. Pick up the toolbox. And saw my way out. Yeah, that seems okay. So, gently. So I need to cut the power to my south by doing that. And then as I step to the north, which I can't do right now, the power would be cut. And so I think I can turn off safety mode and step to the north and be fine. Yes. Let's put safety mode back on. And then I'm going to use 1 saw. All right. Got more planks. Down to 1 saw now. I do have 2 wire cutters. And so simply using those 2 wire cutters, or alternatively I could use water buckets, would allow me to walk from right to left. And then once I grab the toolbox, I would cut all of the power on the south end, which would open the door. So I think the wire cutters are a little bit more valuable than the water buckets, so I think I'm going to spend 2 water buckets here, actually. So let's extinguish that and grab my tools and go to the south. And we have reached the end. So do I want to use my rising stock now? Earn money with your money. And also, is there any reason to believe? So it looks like there's a room over here to the right. If you look kind of carefully at the outlines, I don't have a way to try to get in there though. And if I do this, will I still have all of my stuff? I think I will. So I'm going to hit H for the hub and see if I still have my inventory. I do. And so rising stock, earn money with your money, and remind me, there's a thing called coin that says unlocked by default. If I go ahead and activate my rising stock, I got a coin, and it pay any payment tile in the shop. Interesting. So I maybe should have tried that before. And now I guess this is going to be lost forever unless I could get to a shop. I'll say that I hope as always that you guys are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Herman Electro, where there are still more things to unlock. For now, bye-bye.